Now, the Scottish Government has told Drivetime tonight that the health and safety of prisoners is a key priority. It comes after an Irish court refused to extradite a man to Scotland on humanitarian grounds after noting that prison overcrowding would result in him being locked up for 22 hours a day with less than 3 square metres of personal space. Well, Scottish prosecutors have asked to extradite Richard Sharples, who's 24, over 2 offences believed to have occurred in Glasgow in September 2021. However, an Irish judge ruled that if Sharples was sent to Scotland, he would face, and I quote, a real and substantial risk of inhumane or degrading treatment. Dr. Katrina Morrison is a lecturer in criminology at Edinburgh Napier University and secretary of the Howard League Scotland. She spoke to our colleagues on Good Morning Scotland on Tuesday.
Well, of course, while it's unfortunate that he had to make this ruling, we do welcome it because we think it highlights problems which have been existing in prisons in Scotland for some time. And, the system just keeps rumbling on and nothing changes. So we've known about problems in Scottish prisons for years, decades even. Overcrowding, for example, is a really entrenched problem. It's not evenly dispersed across the prison estate, so some prisons are a lot more overcrowded than others. And Barlinnie is, in fact, the most overcrowded at the moment, standing at 130% capacity.
Well, today, Tommy Ross Casey, a former president of the Scottish Criminal Bar Association, has come out and said the situation is an embarrassment and told Drivetime that the Scottish Government needed to do more.
Well, it's a national embarrassment. It's really as simple as that. The position is that the man is suspected of committing very serious offences in Scotland, including threatening an individual with a firearm and seriously assaulting the person to the danger of his life. The Irish court was asked to send him back to Scotland for trial, and the man argued that that would be a breach of his human rights because the conditions in Scottish prisons are so absolutely appalling that it would be a breach of his human rights to be sent there. And having heard evidence on the subject, including the fact that the expectation was that the man would be detained for 22 hours a day with 3 metres of personal space, the Irish judge agreed that it would be a breach of his human rights to send him to Scotland and refused the application.
And how did we get to this situation, Tommy?
Well, prison numbers have been increasing. COVID didn't help matters because the court more or less shut down for 3 or 4 months. But there hasn't been any creative thinking behind it. I mean, in every other area of civil society, there was adaptations made in relation to COVID, but the remand machine in Scotland has just carried on relentless. So people are going to court. The judges have not softened their attitude so far as bail's concerned. There haven't been any new solutions in relation to bail, such as halfway houses or anything of that sort. And the remand population has simply increased and increased and increased with more and more cases coming into the system. So it's absolutely inevitable, completely predictable, but yet the Scottish Government didn't see it coming. And really nothing's been done to make the situation any better.
How difficult does it make things for the legal system, for the courts, for lawyers?
Well, it's not really me I'm worried about, Fiona. It's the people who are locked up 20 hours a day with 3 metres of personal space. And I can add to the Irish judges' information about the position. They're likely to be there for about 2 years. So you can be remanded in Scotland now for 2 years, 2.5 years, 22 hours a day locked up before anything's even proved against you. So all of these people that we're talking about now are presumed to be innocent. Nothing has been proved against them, and they're lying in remand for periods in excess of 2 years. I mean, the whole situation is absolutely appalling, and I don't see anything being done by the Scottish Government to do anything about it whatsoever.
So what do we do about it? What is the solution?
We need to let some people out, Fiona. It's really simple as that. Crown Office have to have a target of letting 100 people out every month or 200 people, finding solutions, offering pleas, taking a flexible approach, because it's okay going on with business as normal when things are normal. We're being told We lived through a national emergency in the form of a pandemic, and everything else changed to match the fact that we're dealing with emergency circumstances, apart from the remand system. And we just continue to put people into the remand system. So urgent action is required. We need plea negotiations. We need the Crown to prosecute less cases. We need sheriffs to be more charitable when it comes to bail decisions. We need to think about halfway houses between bail and custody, maybe putting people in hostels with conditions that they stay there. All of these things have to be considered. At the moment, we're doing absolutely nothing. And the sad thing is, Fiona, that this decision in the Irish court means nothing in Scotland. It will change nothing in Scotland because it doesn't have any effect in Scotland. So unless this story gets some publicity and people show their concern about it, then I'm afraid the Scottish Government will just continue as they have been.
Well, that was Thomas Ross, KC there. A spokesperson for the Scottish Government said to us the health, safety and well-being of those in prison is a key priority. The Scottish Prison Service works closely with NHS partners to ensure appropriate measures are in place to support those individuals, including those with complex needs, on a case-by-case basis. Now, 10 million users signed up